Well, good morning, my friends, and welcome to your channel. Because as I've said a million times, it's not my channel, it is yours. You are the channel. So welcome to Crime Lines and Lies and to Taco Tuesday. Who did I miss in the pre-party? I see that Levi got in here. Hello, Prissy Missy. Hello, Bonnie Baker. JTB, Nana Banana. Pat was the first one in. I had to pinch myself. I went and checked the news to see if hell froze over, because normally Pat comes in and says, "For fuck's sake, I have company." But she was the first one in. Let's have a round of applause for Pat. We love you, Pat. Good morning, Kamari. Walking Dead. She's like, woohoo to Pat. Yeah, I thought maybe my clock was wrong. I'm like, hold it. Am I late for the show? Who knows? Kentucky says, I get company every time Brooks goes live. The best way, and this is a proven fact. Have you ever had company that just keeps hanging around and hanging around and hanging around, and you're like, are they ever going to leave? This happened to us a couple of years ago on 4th of July. You know, some old friends you run into, and I'm like, well, I know what's going to make them leave. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. It's been dry here. So I turned on my shows. And at that time, I probably had like, maybe I had a channel for like a month. Well, the assholes sat there and watched it. I figured it would make them run out the damn door. I wonder if they're members. Matter of fact, today would be a good day to remind them. So let's take a second and tell everybody, hello, welcome back. Glad you're here. Thank you for being a friend. Speaking of friendship, yesterday I was kind of in a crusty mood. You know, it's Monday, weather wasn't cooperating. And this morning I woke up early because OJ wanted to watch Lion King. You know how it goes when you have OJ. And I'm like, what an amazing group of people that we have here. I mean, just true blue, great friends, great conversation, no drama, you know, keep it real. Then I log on to Facebook, saw something that I was tagged in that tickled my heart from Dana. Then I see this meme. Nothing brings a group of assholes together faster than something that is none of their business. Well, I don't think any of us are assholes. As I said, we're great friends. But today I'm going to stick my nose into something that the FBI is up to their ears in. And that is the case of what is going on in Bardstown. Let me tell you what, it is complex to say the least. As of right now, 3 people are in jail. We have the methed out father and son duo. On your left, we have Steve Lawson. On your right, we have Joseph Lawson. Not taking a lot of vitamins in that family. And in the middle, someone who takes a special vitamin, obviously, and that is our friend, Fatneck. Now, just like me, his first name is Brooks. Well, I tell you what, between him, his mama, his bubby, and all their cohorts, they have done a lot of nasty things. Their greed, their secrets are all coming to light. Talk about bad family dynamics, corruption. This is Bardstown and Murdaugh all wrapped into one. I cannot believe that Netflix hasn't got a hold of this and made a month-long series, because there's Alex Murdaugh sitting in jail going, hell, why didn't I think of that? Seriously? I could have done all that. Kentucky says, Brooks, I have to wonder if the feuds in Kentucky have ever ended. Oh, I think they're still going on. I think the 3 that have been apprehended are not the end of it. Now, before I get to the show, several people came into chat this morning asking what OJ's up to. OJ has been quite the pill this morning. He has been chewing on cords, kind of like that cat in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Again, he's always knocking things off of counters to get my attention, chewing on an ink pen, and fighting with my ponytail holder. Then I got a hold of this. I took a little video for you guys. He also is a crime-fighting cat. You better believe it. He keeps DT Driver and I safe from his toys. It doesn't matter how many times a day I put his toys up, he will get them out. And one that seems we need to be the most protected from is Mr. Fishy. Look at this.
Oh, I would not want to be that fishy. I would not want to be that fishy. Oh, OJ, you won. You won. Is he coming back to get the fishy or going to take a nap?
Nope, he went for round 4. He started circling Mr. Fishy. He put his paw on it. It starts flapping again, and he starts rolling Mr. Fishy all across the living room. But thank goodness, I'm safe. Without OJ, what would we do? And look at this. CC05 became a new YouTube member. Welcome to the family. Make sure you check out the community tab. I think there's more members content than anything, and our Christmas extravaganza will be on Tuesday. Now, let's get to the show. First thing I'm going to do is go through the timeline. In the case of Crystal Rogers, who was last seen July 3rd of 2015. And her parents were not giving up, and they were not about to be intimidated by Fat Neck and the crew.
Been following this case since Rogers went missing in July of 2015. Early on, there were several developments in the case, but 4 months into the investigation, new information seemed to slow. Here's Shay McAllister with a look back at those first crucial months.
Crystal Rogers has been missing for 5 years. Her family has searched, prayed, and fought for answers.
I'm going to get those answers one day.
I just want to hug her mama. I just want to hug her mama. Now, remember, this was 5 years into the case. It's now been 8 years. Sometimes I wish that they would only put pertinent dates in and not say how long it's been, because, well, kind of messes up my jam up here. But her mama, I would just love to give a hug to.
Fought for answers.
I'm going to get those answers one day.
Last seen alive on July 3rd of 2015. Family says Rogers' cousin saw her walking out of Walmart, and then she spent the night with her boyfriend, Brooks Houck. Houck told police they were at his mom's farm, feeding the cows, and then they went home. He says he went to bed.
So you go to bed, she stays up. What's she doing?
She's just on her phone playing, I don't know what game, but she normally plays a game.
Right.
Some kind.
July 4th, one day after she is last.
So her mama, Sherry, filed the missing persons report. What a likely alibi. I just went to bed. She was playing games on her phone. No more detail than that. Not, this is what we had to eat. I went to bed early. Nothing like that. And don't forget, there was a lot of fireworks going off that night. Not just in the disappearance of Crystal, but fireworks.
Seen alive, her family starts to worry. They say they can't get a hold of her. Her mom, Sherry Ballard, files a missing persons report at the Nelson County Sheriff's Office. And on July 5th, the first big development. Someone spots Crystal's maroon Chevy sedan on the side of the Bluegrass Parkway. When her dad, Tommy Ballard, goes to see for himself, he finds her keys, phone, and purse inside.
Inside, and also the seat is not adjusted as to where Crystal would have been driving it. It is now reported and believed that this man, Steven Lawson, was the one that drove and abandoned the car. Seems like they were trying to make it look like some sort of carjacking. Well, you can't exactly set up something like this when she was laying on the couch playing games as Fatneck went to sleep.
If Crystal's out there and can see us, we're hunting for you.
Dozens of friends and family spent the rest of the day and night searching the highway and rural areas surrounding it. But family says Houck never offered to help.
He's had no emotion. It's like nothing's changed to him, and to us, our whole world has changed.
July 6th, the family announced a $25,000 reward in her case. The next day, July 7th, Brooks is brought into an interrogation room at the Nelson County Sheriff's Office, where he sits down with Detective Jonathan Snow. He explains when he woke up, the couple's baby, Eli, was in bed next to him, and Crystal was gone.
And so when you wake up, he's there, but Crystal's not.
She's not.
Okay. And so did you try to call her or?
Yes, I noticed that she wasn't there. I didn't know exactly what to think. I don't know what time I called her. Yes, I called her that morning.
The interview.
Okay. The plot thickens. I noticed she wasn't there. Yeah, he's quite the detective. He noticed that one whole human was missing from the house, but left their baby behind. People that know Crystal Rogers, I'm not going to use her in past tense because, well, the FBI believes she is deceased, but seems a little grim. She would not have left her baby behind. So we have kind of a two-ply plot, and I want to ask you guys, what do you think this was about? Do you think it was about Crystal uncovering the criminal activity in the family? Or that she had already threatened to take Eli and leave? Could be a combination of the two.
Crystal was gone.
And so when you wake up, he's there, but Crystal's not.
She's not.
Okay. And so did you try to call her or?
Yes, I noticed that she wasn't there. I didn't know exactly what to think. I don't know what time I called her. Yes, I called her that morning.
The interview was interrupted by Houck's older brother, who at the time was a Bardstown police officer. Nick Houck telling his brother Brooks he should leave the interview, and he did. On July 10th, the Nelson County Sheriff's Office executes a search warrant at the Houck family farm, the last place Crystal was said to be alive.
This property is the last property that she was seen at, as far as we've been told.
Later that week, on July 15th, Brooks' brother Nick is interviewed by the Kentucky State Police. Detectives say they found bodily fluids in his vehicle. He says he can't explain why. For the next 3 months, the family continues to search, walking through woods, wading through water, determined to find the missing mother of 5, and waiting on word from police. Mid-October, local authorities drop 3 major developments in the case. First, then Sheriff Ed Mattingly announces Crystal is officially presumed dead.
There's certain things that people do that when they exist on this earth, and she has vanished from earth. And I think it's safe to say that she's dead.
Then we learn Nick Houck has been fired from his job as a Bardstown police officer after the chief said he interfered with his brother's police interview.
I was less than impressed Was very bothered by some of the actions that were displayed.
Then we learn Nick Houck has been fired from his job as a Bardstown police officer. Later that same day, in October of 2015, the sheriff declares he has his eye on one man in this case.
They're looking at one suspect and one suspect only. That's her, Rogers' live-in boyfriend, Brooks Houck.
But Brooks Houck is not arrested. He is not charged. These developments in the first 4 months of the case would be the most tangible as the wait continued for 5 more years.
Nelson County Sheriff Raymond Penaroa sent us a statement earlier today saying, in part, "I would like to take the time today to thank our team at the Nelson County Sheriff's Office for all the work that they have put into the Crystal Rogers case over the last 5 years."
It's been 8 years. And Fatneck and the crew are responsible for even more deaths. The family of Jason Ellis believe his murder is connected to what happened to Crystal Rogers. Her father, Tommy Ballard, it was fastly said after he died, murdered, that it was a hunting accident. Can't be a hunting accident when basically it was a sniper type kill. And I saw one of your comments in here. I believe it was from Slim. If not, Slim, you're going to get the credit. When women are in relationships like this and want to leave, it can become extremely dangerous. Crystal is one of many that wanted out of her current relationship for one reason or another, and life destroyed. Here's other examples. Horrible. Horrible. Roughly a year ago, a special prosecutor was assigned to the cases, and things have really heated up since the Attorney General made this step. I applaud the powers that be in Kentucky for doing this. I wish it would happen in more states. We have several unsolved crimes that the local law enforcement, for one reason or another, sometimes it could just be they don't want to admit their own mistakes, need some help. I think about the case of Laura and Ashley in Oklahoma, the case of the Girl Scout murders in Oklahoma, Alana Raffield. Well, there's too many to count in Oklahoma. I think about the case of Summer Wells in Tennessee that I believe needs a heavy hand to set up shop. And I'm sure you all can think of others. Hats off to Kentucky.
And tonight I have an update on the Crystal Rogers investigation. We have learned the Attorney General has appointed a special prosecutor to assist in the prosecution of all criminal charges related to the deaths of Jason Ellis, Crystal Rogers, and Tommy Ballard, notably the Netherlands, not included in this. The FBI has said they are working with prosecutors to move the case forward, and this could be the next critical step. They are 3 of Kentucky's most high-profile unsolved cases: the ambush killing of Bardstown police officer Jason Ellis, disappearance of mother of 5 Crystal Rogers, and fatal shooting of Rogers' dad, Tommy Ballard.
What do Jason Ellis Crystal Rogers and Tommy Ballard have in common? What is the common denominator? In my opinion, they knew too much about Fatneck and the crew. Look at that, an ambush killing, utter disappearance, and a hunting accident, which was actually almost like a military type sniper kill.
The ambush killing of Bardstown police officer Jason Ellis, disappearance of mother of five Crystal Rogers, and fatal shooting of Rogers' dad, Tommy Ballard. The FBI previously made it clear they are the lead on the Rogers case, but investigating all three, saying this in a one-on-one interview back in 2020.
It is very rare to have all of these types of cases, which are potentially connected in a small community like Nelson County.
Now, new information on who might be bringing charges. This letter obtained by WHAS 11 showing the Attorney General has appointed Hardin County's Commonwealth Attorney Shane Young as special counsel on this case. The letter reads, "This appointment shall be for the purpose of assisting this office in the prosecution, if any, of potential criminal charges related to the deaths of Jason Ellis, Crystal Rogers, and Tommy Ballard. Kathy and Samantha Netherland, the mother and daughter, tortured and killed in their Nelson County home, not mentioned in the letter. The appointment replaces Nelson County Commonwealth's attorney Terry Gohagen, who's...
I do wonder often about the Netherlands. Everything I have read about their horrific murders seems to be a totally different MO from Crystal, Tommy, and Jason. I can't find in any way that they can be connected to Fatneck. But we're going to keep digging. And by the way, Shay McAllister is one badass woman. She is not scared. She has taken this case. She has ran with it. This is what investigative journalism is all about. No fear with this woman. She puts other reporters to shame. Good for her.
Tommy Ballard. Kathy and Samantha Netherland, the mother and daughter, tortured and killed in their Nelson County home, not mentioned in the letter. The appointment replaces Nelson County Commonwealth's attorney Terry Gohagen, who's also copied on the letter. When we asked the Attorney General about the change, a spokesperson said the Office of Attorney General has made some administrative adjustments in the case in order to streamline a continued effort toward justice for the victims, their families, and the people of Nelson County. These minor alterations clarified lines of authority. And it was just 3 months ago the FBI executed a massive search warrant at the Houck family farm. Cadaver dogs and heavy machinery focused on the back of the farm, an area not previously searched. The FBI declined to provide an update on their side of the investigation, only saying the work underway right now is not for public consumption. And just in the last 30 minutes, we heard from the Kentucky Attorney General's office about why the Netherlands case is not involved in this new prosecutor. I was told that they were not asked to intervene in that case. Also today, I talked to Sherry Ballard about the new prosecutor. She says she has met with him on several occasions. She believes Tommy and Crystal's case is now in excellent hands. She also said she has been discouraged at the timing of how this investigation has moved forward, but she feels like finally, this case is heading in the right direction.
Woo. Just Me said, is there a connection to the cop and them? The only connection I can find would be that Jason Ellis was uncovering things that Fatneck and the crew were doing. And they've done a lot. Hell, the mama's a real Ma Burker. She was even secretly recording the grand jury proceedings. I can't believe she was let in. I can't believe it. Oh, it's just crazy, crazy, crazy. I just don't even know what to say. All right, 5 days ago. 5 days ago. If I can find it. Nelson County. Another search was started. And a couple of days later, the third suspect, there on the left, was arrested. Now, in a turn of events, his attorney about 3 hours ago said he was offered immunity by the FBI. We're going to talk about that in a second, but first let's look at the latest search.
A new dig happening in Nelson County as we speak, connected to one of Bardstown's unsolved cases. It is our top story here at 4. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Brooke Hash. They are searching in Cox Creek, which is in Nelson County. The dig has been focused on this property off of Thompson Hill Road. It's near the Nelson and Bullitt County lines. You can see here that property butts up against a wooded area with a long gravel driveway leading up to a house. Our Shay McAllister is down in Nelson County with photojournalist Jessica Farley. Shay, what do you know about this dig?
Well, Brooke, as far as we can tell, this is the first time authorities have searched this particular property in connection to any of the Bardstown cases. Uniquely here, we have to say any of the Bardstown cases because police are not specifying which case they're focusing on. It could be Tommy Ballard, Crystal Rogers, or Jason Ellis. We have spoken with both of those families today. They tell us they're staying hopeful that answers were found. Down a long driveway tucked on a rural property behind thick woods, FBI special agents and Kentucky State police officers work on the latest search connected to the unsolved cases in Bardstown. Special prosecutor Shane Young confirming the effort is in connection to one of 3 cases: Jason Ellis, Tommy Ballard, or Crystal Rogers. Rogers' grandfather, Till Ballard, got word of the search Wednesday afternoon. He said he had to see it for himself. He says his heart tells him they're looking for Crystal.
I believe it has to be Crystal's remains because Jason Ellis, they buried him and we buried Tommy. So she's the only one in Nelson County that's left. But
look at her poor pawpaw. He said it would have to be Crystal. Now, we don't know what they're actually searching for because they're being closed mouth about it. Because he said Jason's been buried, Tommy's been buried. And I agree with baby kisses. The citizens in that county are scared of them. Adjusted Fate said Steven Lawson was the first to be arrested in a secret indictment. He was arrested before his son and Brooks, not me, but Fatneck. I did not know that. I read it in a Facebook group, but I saw it in the comments. So I wasn't 100% sure. Thank you, Adjusted Fate. Her grandpa breaks my heart.
For himself. He says his heart tells him they're looking for Crystal.
I believe it has to be Crystal's remains because Jason Ellis, they buried him and we buried Tommy. So she's the only one in Nelson County that's left. But I just hope the day comes that we can get her remains and bury her. And everybody involved in this pay for it the rest of their lives.
Today was day 3 of searching, according to neighbors. The first police vehicles and equipment were spotted at 7 a.m. on Monday morning. Neighbors also pointed out this property just up the road. They say this is where the search started, with a giant hole dug behind this trailer earlier this week. On Wednesday, we saw heavy excavating equipment, dozens of unmarked police vehicles, and construction equipment all gone by 2 p.m., wrapping up earlier than previous days, according to neighbors. Authorities have not said what they're looking for or how this property is connected to the cases. Still, families are holding out hope.
It feels real good. Maybe finally we'll get some justice and find Crystal's remains.
We also spoke with Jason Ellis's family today. They tell us that they too are holding out hope that somehow this property holds ties to his case and eventually some answers. Officials will not confirm if searching will continue tomorrow or where they are in that process. We know that Kentucky State Police has been keeping this site secure since the search started on Monday, and right now they are not here. Live in Nelson County, I'm Shay McAllister, WHAS 11 on your side.
You know, from the outside looking in, and I'm the worst about it. Why don't they do this? Why don't they do this? Why don't, And then when it all starts to come out, you see, or I see, that they've been doing it all along. I will say this, that reporters, good ones, put their lives on the line. And Shay McAllister definitely, because before the FBI was so prevalent in this case, she was covering it heavily. Anything she could dig up on that family, she was bringing up. All right, let's get to the latest arrest.
We begin right here at 4 o'clock with another huge development in the Crystal Rogers murder investigation. Police have made a third arrest in the case. The Nelson County grand jury indicting Steve Lawson on 2 charges: conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence. Steve Lawson is believed to be Joseph Lawson's father. Joseph was first arrested in the case earlier this year. Right now, Steve Lawson is in jail in Harrison County, Indiana. He will be extradited back to Nelson County for his arraignment later this month. Here's what we know about the new charges and how police believe he's connected. Pieces falling into place 8 years after the disappearance of Crystal Rogers, the mother of 5 from Bardstown, last seen alive 4th of July weekend 2015. Now, 3 men have been linked to her death, believed to have happened that very same weekend. Joseph Lawson was the first arrest. Brooks Houck was second. Now, Steve Lawson marks the third, a name not new to the investigation. In fact, it was first mentioned just months after Rogers was reported missing inside the Nelson County Sheriff's interrogation room.
Okay, who is Steve Lawson?
He's somebody works for me.
Main suspect at the time, Brooks Houck, explains why he had a late-night phone call with Steve on the night Crystal disappeared. Houck called Steve from inside the interrogation.
The other night you called me really late, and I forgot what you asked me. Can you?
Steve is heard telling Houck he called him with a question for Crystal. Houck says he had to call her to ask and would call him back. Detective John Snow questions that answer, saying it doesn't line up with Houck's initial story.
So that begs a question in my mind.
All right.
If she's in the truck next to you when he called, why would you need to call her?
News of the latest arrest in the case comes.
Sharp, is he not? If Crystal's in the truck next to you, Steve's calling for Crystal, then why would you need to call Crystal? Listen that again. This is what happens when people cannot keep up with their lies and they're trying to make up a murder mystery that, while it is complex to say the least, is solvable.
Questions that answer, saying it doesn't line up with Houck's initial story.
So that begs a question in my mind.
All right.
If she's in the truck next to you when he called, why would you need to call her?
News of the latest arrest in the case comes just days after the latest search. 2 properties in Cox's Creek, the focus of a 3-day effort. FBI and Kentucky State Police using heavy machinery to dig massive holes. The first near a wooded tree line. The second just across the street behind an abandoned trailer on Thompson Hill Road. Authorities would not confirm which case the search was connected to, only saying it was one of these 3 from Bardstown. Crystal Rogers' grandfather, Till Ballard, was on site. Hopeful investigators were finding a critical piece of evidence in his granddaughter's case.
I just hope the day comes that we can get her remains and bury her, and everybody involved in this pay for it the rest of their lives.
Now, 3 men are connected, facing charges for a death that still has many unanswered questions. So here are the 3 upcoming court dates you need to know about. Steve Lawson is expected in court on December the 21st for his arraignment. Joseph Lawson's next court date is January the 5th, and Brooks Houck is scheduled to be in court on February the 8th. Of course, the WHAS 11 team will be there for all of them.
Oh, yes, we know they will be there. So, Steve, December 21st. His son, January 5th. Fatneck, February 8th. It seems like every time they go to court, it's even more mind-boggling than we could imagine. Now, like I said, this came out earlier today, 3-4 hours ago. Third man charged in Crystal Rogers' death was offered immunity by federal investigators, attorney says.
Go look at the sprinter gene. I wonder if you have it or if that's why you didn't make the team.
Let me pull it up. Sprinter gene. Don't have it.
Yep, I knew
Let's
it.
see. Can't run, can't catch, too short. What else does it tell?
Give the gift of family heritage with Ancestry.
Okay, that was just an LSU commercial. The attorney for Steve Lawson, the third man arrested in connection to the murder of Crystal Rogers, said Lawson was verbally offered immunity by federal investigators. Theodore Lavitt, in a recent interview with WDRP News, said Lawson expected to be arrested. He's not surprised. As interrogation progressed down throughout the last month, they were backing off of their agreement to give him immunity. We believe he's immune. I still think he's immune. Now, come on. I get where the attorney is going with this. They verbally offered him immunity, but now he's going to be extradited and arraigned at the end of the month. Sounds like they didn't exactly pinky promise, is how it looks to me. Lawson, according to the December 6 Nelson County indictment, agreed to aid one or more persons in the planning or commission of the death of another and then destroyed, mutilated, concealed, removed, or altered physical evidence on July 3rd or July 4th, 2015, when Crystal Rogers disappeared. His bond has been set at $500,000 cash. Safe to say, he doesn't have that kind of money. I don't think Fat Neck pays that well. And again, he's going to be arraigned at the end of this month. Lavitt said he knows nothing about her death. At no times he has indicated he harmed that girl. Here's the thing when you are involved in the commission of a crime. Even if you just move the car, even if you just make a phony phone call acting like she's still alive, then you are definitely part of the problem. 100%. And as I have said a million times before when we're talking about this case, Sherry Ballard absolutely breaks my heart. This is where she spoke about the FBI coming to see her. This was after the special prosecutor was assigned. Hang on. Adjusted Fate says, Brooks, do you know if the coroner was called to the most recent search location? In the thread by Shay McAllister, I asked, and I just did not get a comment back. I would like to know.
Heartache and unanswered questions. Where is Crystal Rogers? The Bardstown mom disappeared 8 years ago today, and for the first time, we're hearing what the FBI initially told Crystal's mom when they took over the case, and why it's been a tough reality to face.
July 3rd, 2015. The search began early Tuesday morning. We're being held about. The FBI wrapped up.
We'd find her.
Crystal Rogers disappeared.
Remember Crystal Rogers of Bardstown near the intersection.
Parents
Tommy and Sherry
help
Ballard.
to bring Crystal home.
Gosh, it's been like torture.
Year after year, still no answers.
I can't even believe I had to wait 8 years.
I can't either. That's what happens when you have so many dirty players in one story. Really, that is what happens. When we talk about the case of Harmie Montgomery, you would think that it'd be kind of easy to put together, but when you have so many dirty players, hence why basically everybody that's ever known out of Montgomery was offered a proffer agreement to sweep their other dirty deeds under the rug and find out what happened to Harmony. That's the reason I really don't doubt that the FBI offered Steve Lawson any form of immunity. Verbally wouldn't sit right with me. I'd say, I would kind of like to have that in writing, please, so I know what I have to deal with, but that's just me. Actually, I can say this very confidently. I would never be in that hot seat. Ever. Ever. I'm not a good liar. I would just instantly spill my guts and say, Fat Neck told me to call and pretend like she's alive. That'd be me. I didn't know what was going on. The next thing you know, he wanted me to move her car and park it over there. Hell, I didn't know. I guess that construction job meant a lot to the Lawson brothers. Or father and son. I apologize.
Here. Still, no answers.
I can't even believe I had to wait 8 years. It doesn't get easier as the time goes by.
Crystal Rogers seemingly vanished into thin air.
People tell you it gets easier.
At this point,
it hasn't for me.
People know her story. In Bardstown, in Louisville, and across the nation. Mother of 5 gone missing July 3rd, 2015.
It's not like my daughter not to get in touch with us.
Her boyfriend at the time and father of her youngest child, Brooks Houck, is considered to be the last person to see her alive.
I didn't trust Brooks Houck to begin with. I knew what kind of relationship they had and how he treated her. And the minute that I knew she wasn't in contact with anyone, then that's when I knew something was definitely wrong.
He's also the main suspect in her disappearance, but has never been charged in the case. Family found Crystal's car abandoned on the Bluegrass Parkway. The maroon Chevy Impala had a flat tire with Crystal's keys, purse, and cell phone still inside. The case has gone from the Nelson County Sheriff's Office to Kentucky State Police and ultimately the FBI in 2020.
The FBI guy that I work with is busting his butt, and I mean literally busting his butt to find answers for my family. And you know, he's very good at his job.
Over the years, the Houck family farm, the homes of Brooks Houck and his brother Nick Houck, have been searched multiple times along with a storage unit. In 2021, the driveway of a home built by Houck was ripped up. And most recently in 2022, the FBI was back again at the Houck farm for a 5-day search. But what is the Federal Bureau of Investigation looking for? Because it's not just FBI agents executing these warrants. IRS agents have been on scene as well. Still, no arrests. Ballard says Crystal planned on leaving Brooks and the job she had helping him with his rental properties.
She looked at me out of the blue, just out of the blue. We were not talking about that. And she's like, Mom, he thinks I'm an idiot. She said, but I have everything. She said, I have all of his rentals. I have his tax papers. I have everything. And she said, and I hid that. And to this day, Fallon, if I have one big, huge regret, it's because I did not ask her where she put that.
Okay, that is a haunting statement. Haunting. Mom, he thinks I'm an idiot. But I have everything. Which is basically, she wouldn't keep it if it was all on the up and up. It was dirty, dirty business. Witt said Eli was a baby. There's no way that he knew what his father did to his mother. No, but the thing is, this isn't, we're in 2023. And obviously he's older now. Shoot, kids know how to use the internet these days at the age of 3 or 4. It's a crazy situation. They do. He's going to start thinking, what happened to my mama? And he's going to figure it out. It's just a couple clicks away. It's not like when I was growing up, and if you wanted to find something out, you'd have to go down to your local newspaper and wait for someone to spend a good 6, 7, 8 hours back on microfiche to bring you a very, very bad Xerox copy of it. He is going to be fully aware soon.
I'm an idiot. She said, but I have everything. She said, I have all of his rentals. I have his tax papers. I have everything. And she said, and I hid that. And to this day, Fallon, if I have one big, huge regret, it's because I did not ask her where she put that.
She wants people to know just because you don't see the FBI on the ground in Bardstown every day, it doesn't mean they aren't working the case.
You know, the first thing the FBI told me when they got involved with this, and they're like, please don't take this the wrong way, but you know, we're not here to find your daughter. We're here to find justice for her. And if we find her in the meantime, that's a very, very good thing.
Would it be enough?
Imagine being her mama, having this conversation with the FBI. We're not here to find your daughter. We're here to find justice for your daughter. And if in the meantime we find her, that would be great. I have a feeling that wasn't a good night's sleep for Mama. And also, she's also lost her husband.
It doesn't mean they aren't working the case.
You know, the first thing the FBI told me when they got involved with this, and they're like, please don't take this the wrong way, but you know, we're not here to find your daughter. We're here to find justice for her. And if we find her in the meantime, that's a very, very good thing.
Would it be enough, you know, to get justice for Crystal, but never have that answer of where she is?
Sometimes there are just no words to adequately express the pain your heart has endured for so long. Sometimes your tears tell the entire story.
I'm sorry.
But wiping them away doesn't wipe away the grief.
It don't get easier. I know that's a possibility, but it's one I don't want to face.
The missing mom of 5 comes from a close-knit family.
I just have to be patient, and
that would give anything to have answers after 8 years.
And gosh, and pray to God that I don't have to wait very many more.
The FBI declined our request for an interview for this story, but released this statement on social media today. It says, over the last year, FBI Louisville has made significant progress in bringing this case to its rightful conclusion, and that Crystal's family and the Bardstown community deserve justice.
Rock on, FBI Louisville. Rock on. Over the last year, FBI Louisville has made significant progress in bringing this case to its rightful conclusion. Crystal's family and the Bardstown community deserve justice. We continue to pursue every available lead until those responsible for Crystal's disappearance are held accountable. And what they have dug up between here and there, again, I am really surprised Netflix has not been all over this. I really am. It is horrible. Lisa Wilson said Crystal's mom is the sweetest, strongest lady, such a smart, kind soul. And she's had everything ripped away from her. And why? Is it really a custody dispute over little Eli? Was it that Crystal was not the dumb blonde that he used to say was dumb? Or is it just what Crystal said to her mother? He thinks I'm dumb, but I have everything. His rentals, his dirty construction business, money under the table, tax evasion. I've got it all. One of you, I can't remember who said it now. I talked about it in the last show. Said, and think about it. That night in that area, there was tons of fireworks going off. Tons of fireworks. So let's say they used a pew-pew. Nobody would have noticed. which hell, where I live, you wouldn't notice anyway because, people use guns. Adjusted Fate said money. Money. Well, let's hear from Fat Neck himself. This is a little bit of how he explained badly how things went down.
But I don't know that because I don't know you guys.
I don't know, maybe sometimes she might use Crystal's phone. I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that.
Right.
I do not know the answer.
Okay. But as far as you know, you all did not have plans for a babysitter that night.
No, absolutely no.
The plan was all along for you guys to go to the farm.
Yes.
Okay.
What a cocky idiot. So you weren't going to get a babysitter. According to people that knew Crystal, she didn't go anywhere without her son. There was no, I'm going to run to the store and get something. She always took her baby with her. Tracy has great insight here. She said, by the way, it's Tracy with an I. I think it's got to do with Jason Ellis working a drug case, using the construction company to launder money. I've always wondered about that too, because Jason was getting really close to what that family was up to. And old mama's trying to be all innocent. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Not Crystal's mama, but Fat Neck and Nick's. You see, these two were all about protecting their mama.
Give me just a second. I want to get your phone and look that phone number.
All right.
Okay, if we put that number in.
Yeah, go right ahead. Do what you gotta do.
I don't know how to do that. I've
You
got
just-
an Apple phone. So just,
You just want to put the number in, right?
or check contacts or however you do it to see who it is, yeah.
492-1390. Just call it. Oh, Steve Lawson.
Okay, who is Steve Lawson?
He's somebody works for me.
Okay. They already knew who he had contact with. I'm just going to assume, I have not seen the documents, that they knew that he had been in contact with people the night of her disappearance. So here we go. During the interrogation, he calls Steve Lawson. Steve Lawson was recently arrested, tampering with physical evidence, which happens to be her car that was found by her daddy, Tommy, who is also prematurely deceased, and conspiracy to commit murder.
Hey, Steve. Hey, I can't hear you real good. I'm gonna ask you to speak up a little bit, okay?
Okay, sir.
Hey, I was wanting to know, hey, I've got some things going on next week. I'm gonna need your help with me. Are you already booked up or can you help me?
I haven't moved up yet. I'm still looking for a place. That's why I needed them numbers from you.
All right. Well, I can write them all down and get them there for you. But I was actually talking about doing some more work with your little skid steer and so forth. Mine's still broke down.
Well, I said, get with me tomorrow. I'm coming. I know you have a hard time hearing me because it's where I'm located at.
All right.
So just get in touch with me tomorrow and we'll see what we can do. But my question, I just want to tell you I'm sorry about everything that's going on in your life, brother, and I got you in my prayers.
I said it is a very difficult and trying time, but I appreciate you you saying that. But hey, I need your help while I got you on the phone here. Do you remember the other night you called me really late, and I forgot what you asked me. Can you? I guess it wasn't on the phone. I might have been tired. I know it was pretty late at night. Can you remember what you asked me or what you were after? I can't remember.
Yes, sir, I can. I called and asked you for them numbers for a house.
Oh, for a rental house.
Yes, sir,
And
I did.
and what did I forgot? What did I tell you?
You told me that you would call, what's her name, Katie or whatever, she handles all that.
Crystal.
Crystal, okay, I apologize.
Yeah.
And you said she handles all that, and that you would get back with me on it.
All right. Thank you so much, Nell.
Hey, if there's anything I can do, you give me a call.
Thank you. You have a good night now.
Yes, sir. God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, God bless you. This call was set up 100%. I have a feeling there's a burner phone floating around, but he made sure that the phone that he received the phone call from and made the phone call from was with him. But this call was set up, just like the next call he's about to receive.
Okay. So that begs a question in my mind.
All right.
If she's in the truck next to you when he called, why would you need to call her about getting numbers for rental
Because
property?
being that late at night, we're headed to the house. You know, I just wouldn't. She normally is not going to deal with stuff that late. And I mean, I probably didn't even look at the phone to see who it was calling me. I'm sure I just answered it. You know.
But he said you told him that you'd need to call her.
All right.
Why would you need to call her? I mean, that's an odd phrase for someone who's sitting next to you in the truck. Do you understand? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. But I mean, that's what if that right there is what I told him, that right there is what I told him. We wasn't on the phone that long, but normally I would just, she handles all that, and that's what I would do. She's not going to want to mess with that kind of stuff that late. I'm sure I'll probably try to answer the phone really quickly, so that it wouldn't, a lot of times after I get moving, Eli goes to sleep, you know. Sometimes he goes to sleep in the truck, sometimes he doesn't. So if you want to call him, and you got his number and everything, if you want to call him, you know, you can call him.
Oops, he did it again. Got caught being a fat neck and a big fat liar. Who the hell could step in it that way? And now he's almost having a stare down with the interrogator with the leg crossed, look at him like, what's next, big boy? What's next?
What do you think?
I'm shocked. I do not know.
I mean, you told me that she doesn't do drugs.
She's not on any kind of drugs that I'm aware of.
She drinks socially. On occasion.
And mildly, yes, not any kind of.
Every 6-8 weeks, something like that, right? Has she ever had trouble with depression before?
Not really, not to my knowledge. I mean, there's always stress that's your highs and lows in people's life, but I wouldn't classify her as a stressful person or someone that's deeply depressed.
Well, I know Keith Rogers, her ex-husband, or still current, but not together. I know that he has had a drug problem in the past. Was she with him during the time that he had the drug problem? Or was that after?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, I
Was
mean,
she
I
involved in them
I
at the
think
time?
that he has fought that for some time, and I think that she was obviously definitely in the picture while that was going on, but I don't, to my knowledge, she didn't get wrapped up into any of that.
I guess the biggest problem that I have is that most women are not going to walk away from their purse and their cell phone in the car.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
And her children. And her children. Do you really think that this didn't happen? But he is trying to set it up for this interrogation detective that would be probable. Now, he gave him a way to kind of slither out of it, give him enough rope to hang himself. Did she struggle with depression? He brings up the drug problem from the ex. But he didn't take that baton and run with it, now did he? Because he's got to stick with his plan.
If she were going to walk to go find help or something, she would take her phone, even if it was dead. She wouldn't. My wife wouldn't leave her purse anywhere for any reason. So I can't figure why she would walk away from the car and leave the purse there. When we took the bloodhounds up there, the lady commented that it was though she wasn't even there. I mean, they had her things that you provided us for scent, and they said it was as though she was not even there. I can't explain that. I don't understand what that means. I don't know why. If it's her car and she leaves in it sometime Friday night, why does it appear to the dogs that she's not even there?
I agree with you.
This same set of bloodhounds tracked her in the car from 49, and they had never been to your mom's farm before, tracked her scent all the way down 49, turned on Ballstown Road, and turned on Pascal Ballard as though they were following your car. So I know the dog's not defective.
That's right.
Because they're following her scent, and they don't know where your mom is. They've never been there before. So the dog's nose is not defective. So when the dog doesn't even try to find her on the parkway, where her car ends up, it's just very odd to me. And I can't figure out why they wouldn't find any scent of her at all if she walked one way or another.
It would have.
I love this guy. He goes, the dog's not defective. The dog is not defective. He explains, the dogs went to the farm. Now, don't forget that they would not allow investigators on the farm. Would not. They had to get a warrant. But odd, if she had just parked her car and decided to take a walk through the woods to get the hell out of Dodge, how come the dogs didn't track the scent? One dog might be a little off, okay? But like you said, the dog's not detective. I'm so glad you're here too, honey elder.
Picked it up.
Right. They would have at least walked far enough for her to have been picked up by somebody. You know, if you break down on the parkway, somebody's not going to pull bumper to bumper with you. So you're going to have to walk from your car to their car to get in.
Right.
So the dog doesn't even act like it wants to go in one direction or another, even far enough for her to have even gotten in the car with somebody. That's just weird to me. I don't understand. Unless she was never in her car when it got put on the parkway. I don't know.
Yeah, but I can't answer that. I do not know.
Do you know of anybody that would want to hurt her?
I mean, as far as I know, she's a well-likable person.
Right.
I know that she's done a few evictions with some folks, got a few people upset, but
were they missing evictions?
I mean,
like threat?
I mean, there's never a good eviction.
Right, but I mean,
it's just normal business. But I can't think of anything. She's a likable person. I can't think of anybody.
I can't think of anybody. As far as I know, she's a likable person. As far as I know, well, dude, she lived with you. You had a child with her. have a child with her. As far as I know, she's a likable person. I mean, she did a few evictions. Well, she also got a hold of your tax records and all your dirty dealings. If that doesn't say it, then I don't know what does. As far as I know, she's a likable person. Well, I'd hate to know what would happen if somebody wasn't likable around your family. And when he got real nervous is when the detective said, we don't have a defective dog here.
Who would want to harm her?
Ever have anybody show up at the house upset over something? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You come in there when it's not appropriate for them to be coming to their landlord's house. Ever have them show up at your house, beating on the door, or hey, you threw me out, or whatever?
I've never had somebody come up there to the house over an eviction saying you threw me out. Not one time. Now, several of the tenants do come to our house. Some people don't just mail a money order check. Sometimes people stop by there and drop it off.
Sure.
And, you know, she can write them a receipt that way or whatever. But as far as what you're saying about you evicted me and you threw me out and they're confronting her about it, never happened one time.
Is Kylie's dad, Kylie's dad, he doesn't have anything to do with her?
Very little. I don't even know. I think he lives a far piece from here. I'm not really sure.
So I thought they said her dad's name was John Fenwick. Is that correct?
No, that's not right.
That's not right. Okay.
I think it's Jesse. John Fenwick is one of the owners of Bluegrass Seed.
Right.
Yeah, that's not her.
Okay.
That's not
so
her.
Jesse Fenwick.
I believe. And that might not
somebody that doesn't live around here close.
Yeah, it's a far piece.
Is he now? But obviously, his mom lives on Stone Road.
Yes.
So he's a member of that Fenwick family that's from around here.
I don't know how many sets of Fenwicks there are, but I know there's.
As far as I know, there's only two. Now, I don't know which one he would belong to, and there may be more than that I'm unaware of. But, so, do you know, is she related to the Fenwicks that own the Bluegrass Seed?
I do not. I don't think she is, but I do not know. I don't do family trees and all. I don't do all that.
I didn't know since you do business. If you've done business with them, if it come up. But, and then Ashley is the daughter that her mom and dad raised.
Yes, and I figured out her last name is Johnson. I couldn't tell you that the other night because I was so stressed out, but her last name is Johnson, and I do not know her dad's first name. I just know that he stays incarcerated quite a bit. He'll get out from time to time, but he will only make it about a week, and they find a reason to lock him back up again, whether it be drugs or whatever it is.
Have you all ever had any trouble out of him?
I've never met the man. I know that was a pretty abusive relationship from what Crystal's told me, but I don't really know. I can't speak intelligently upon it. It's been quite some time back, so I really don't.
Okay. Now, I think it's safe to say, from my vantage point, he can't really say too much or cast too much shade on other relationships that she was in, which I'm sure were not golden because she wound up with fat neck. But as he says, I can't speak intelligently on it, tongue in cheek, about this abusive relationship. Well, it's safe to say, hold my beer, you topped her other relationship. Did you not, fat neck? Because when the FBI is looking for your girlfriend, I guess you won that prize. And the prize is the death penalty, life in prison, cinder block cell, bologna on white bread with government cheese, beefaroni.
I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't even know the guy's first name.
No custody issues with Keith?
I know that Tori has told her before that she gets mad if Tori gets mad if she's been corrected or something like that right there. She'll say, well, I'm going to my dad's house, or I'm going over here. You know, they'll want to flip back or forth or whatever, you know, split house.
Play one off the other.
Yeah, I know Tori does that, but I mean, I don't think they've ever really had any big issue on getting the kids. From what I can understand, that's been pretty good. I mean, if one of them wants them, or Keith wants them for a little bit, or the kids want to go over there, they just had kind of like a mutual agreement where that's what they did. That's just what they did. They never really struggled with it, you know.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I guess where I go from here, we're still getting video from different places, you know, that along that route.
Can I get this?
Sure, please. You come over?
Okay, look at the clock on the wall. Can you all see the clock on the wall? It seems like the phone call was right on time. He doesn't even act startled that his phone is ringing during an interrogation. It's almost 7 on the dot. He's not even startled that his phone is ringing. Watch his face. This is a planned phone call.
Agreement where that's what they did. That's just what they did. They never really struggled with it, you know.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I guess where I go from here, we're still getting video from different places, you know, that along that route.
Can I get this?
Sure, please. You come over?
No.
Listen to this. He didn't just put it on vibrate, swipe, can't talk right now. Can I get this? He's not even startled by the call. Can I get this? What would be more important than what you're doing at this moment? Again, look at the clock behind him. He glances down at the phone. I'm sure his phone has a clock on it like everyone else's. Can I get this? Not startled at all.
I'm up here. I know that you didn't know. I'm up here in this interview with the Detective Snow. I've been up here a good little while. I'm filling out this statement here and everything. Are you telling me that's what I need to do? I'm not. I know that. But the way that I look at it is, I'm innocent. I ain't done nothing wrong. What, you know? I know you told me innocent people have got jammed up, but if you're telling me to leave, I'll get up and leave. If you want me to. I know I'm going through a lot, but I'm trying to get this guy to help me. I don't think she's ran off with some other guy. I don't believe that. You can't make me think that. No. Yeah, so do I. I'll do exactly what you're telling me to do right now. You want me to get up and leave? Man, I don't think these guys. I don't think these people are either vindictive just to skin me for no reason. Man, this is not their family. This is not. All right, thank you. He thinks y'all are gonna fuck is what he thinks.
I don't know who he is.
Nick, my brother.
If
He
you
just,
want to go, you're free.
no, I know it, but I'm not, he just said just to keep sitting up here, he said, give a statement, do an interview, whatever I gotta do it, but he said, darn, just to keep, just letting them just beat you to death over this right here, just ask what you gotta ask and let,
And you tell me.
You see what I mean, he knows more about this than I do, you see.
And have I told you that I'm for you?
Yes, you have.
I said, what did I say? My job is to find Crystal, right?
That's right.
However that happens, my job is to find her. Whether I
Right.
find her hopefully alive and well and safe somewhere or not, my job is to find her. If I don't find her alive and well, my job is to prosecute the person that did something.
That's right.
If that turns out to be you, my job is to prosecute you. If that turns out to be someone else, my job is to prosecute them, to gather
Yes.
evidence for a lawyer, a prosecutor to prosecute them. I don't know whether that person will be you or not. Did I not tell you when you come in here and sit down today that right now you're the main person of interest?
Yes, that's right.
And I explained to you the reason that you're the main person of interest, right? You're the last person to see her alive, right? And I went through your timeline with you and explained to you that there's gaps in your timeline, right? Be it good, bad, or indifferent, you can't remember some things about Saturday, you can't remember some things about Sunday. That's not a judgment against you, that's just a fact. I am simply a fact finder. If you want to go, you may go at any time you wish to. I would never dream of stopping you, didn't tell you you had to stay. If you want to bring a lawyer in and answer questions with a lawyer, you're welcome to do that. I'd have been asking you the very same questions in front of your lawyer that I asked you today, right? I have not given up hope of finding her alive. That being said, you know as well as I do, the longer this draws out, the less likely we are to find her alive unless she's run off. I mean, that's just a fact.
That's right.
That's just the facts as they are. I am not for you. I am not against you.
I'm not for you. I'm not against you. I'm a fact finder. Tracy, I would love for you to come up. She's 10 minutes away from Bardstown and she knows this case frontwards and backwards. He said, I'm not for you. I'm not against you. I want to find Crystal alive and well. Well, they've already said they don't think that is possible. And if not, I have to prosecute. And if that's you, I'm going to prosecute you. Now, the surprise phone call obviously wasn't a surprise because it came right at 7 on the dot, as we saw on the clock. He answers, and it's brought up, she ran off with another guy. That was only, and it was loud enough that, well, we could hear the conversation. So you know the detective could hear the conversation. And the detective didn't seem to be impressed with that statement. He didn't say, what does Nick mean she ran off with another guy? Do you know who that could be? He's not even entertaining it because he knows they're trying to set this up. He didn't even entertain it. And isn't it funny? As you know, the name of our channel is Crime, Lines, and Lies. There's a crime, there's a timeline, a crime line, and there's lies. Because it's very coincidental that in these cases, the alleged, I'll put it that way, never knows what the hell time it was on the day that their loved one went missing. That is always the day in their life that they just didn't quite keep track of time. And they're not really sure about things they should be sure about. We've heard of cases where they're not sure about their own child's birthday. Not sure what time it was. Here we are again with the lies. When you don't know what time it is or approximately what time it is, it's because you were busy doing something you cannot admit.
I am not for her family or against her family. Right now, my job is to work for Crystal. Plain and simple. It's just that simple. If that means that I have to interrogate you, then that's what I have to do. You've been nothing but cooperative with me. I appreciate that. We've talked. This makes number third time?
I don't know, I can't.
3 times. Here, the first time, at your house the second time, and here the third time again, not counting the polygraph, because I didn't ask any questions in. You've not asked for a lawyer, you're right. That's your right to do, you're entitled to do that. If Nick thinks you should go and you want to take his advice, go ahead. It's fine. I'm not offended by that. My job is not to make you happy. My job is to find Crystal. If that makes you happy, awesome. You know, but make no mistake, my job is to find her. That's what I'm doing. If I offend people in the midst of that, well, I'll apologize later for offending people. If it finds her home safe, then I'll just take the blunt of offending people and go on. You know, just like what you said. What'd you say? Doesn't matter what they think of you, as long as we find her.
That's all right.
So that being said, you know, you're free to take Nick's advice if he wants you to leave. I don't really have any more questions with you. I was just going to tell you where we go next.
All right, yeah, well, wrap it up and you tell me what we're doing next, and if it's over, it's maybe also longer.
So, yeah, you know, here's what I'm looking at, right? I'm trying to find video of her car getting on the parkway, whether it's New Haven Road or 150, trying to find some video of her car getting on the parkway in hopes that it will reveal to us when it gets on the parkway, because there's some confusion about that. Some people calling in saying they saw it on Saturday. Some people calling in saying they saw it on Sunday morning. Some people calling in saying it wasn't there Saturday or Sunday morning. That's just the nature of the beast. When you put information out there, you get a lot of it back. So I'm trying to figure out when it got on the parkway, and if I can, who was driving it when it got on the parkway. Maybe she was driving it, maybe she wasn't. Maybe somebody else was driving it. I don't know. You know, maybe somebody stole it and it got a flat tire and they left it on the parkway. I have no idea. There's a million possibilities of that how it got on. So I'm trying to figure that out. I would like to fill in the gaps in your timeline. I may be able to do that with the video at your aunt and uncle's house, because they may be able to show me when you came and went from the farm on Saturday, those kind of things. I'm probably going to interview your mom. I'm probably going to interview Nick and ask them, you know, if they were with you anytime during that time. Maybe they have a little better memory of it. They can fill in those gaps. I'm probably going to interview the employees that called you Friday and Saturday, or Friday evening and then Saturday, to interview them and ask them, you know, when you called him, what did you talk about? How long did you talk? Mr. Stanley or whatever his name is. You know, did he answer the phone? Did you all talk on Saturday morning? If you did, what did you talk about? Did you go see him? Those kinds of things to help me fill in your timeline, which gives me a better idea of whether or not you're involved in her disappearance.
There you go. And all of this went down in about, I'd say, approximately 6 minutes from the phone call. He's explaining to him, this is all I'm going to do. Being very transparent. I'm going to talk to all these people. I'm going to get these cameras because I have to fill in your timeline. Let's think about other cases that we talk about on this channel where the timeline is always shady. We know that the 4 suspects in the abduction of Michael Vaughn, their timeline's all over the place. We have no idea what Candace Wells was doing between dropping off Hunter and calling 911. The timeline makes no sense. We know that the horrific murder of Gannon Stout, Letitia's timeline made no sense. And here we have another one. He goes, I'm going to get all of these things to fill in your timeline. Who needs their timeline filled in unless you're hiding your time? Well, somebody was scared. Big time. Because Nick made that very fateful phone call planned right at 7 o'clock. Lost his job. And I'm not going to be surprised if he's not the next pawn to fall. It's going to be rough for old Nick on the inside, considering he's a former officer. But the mama was in on it too. On our next show about the Bardstown murders, We're going to have a very in-depth, deep dive discussion about what these two do. And I mean Fat Neck, and his brother, Nick. What they do to protect their mama. I've got pages and pages and pages of notes. And it seems to me all of this goes back to the mama. Think about it. When Crystal told her mother, Sherry, he thinks I'm dumb, but I've got everything. Rental records, taxes, under the table money from the construction business, you name it. This was a big threat to the mother. On top of that, when she says, I'm ready to get the hell out of here. I'm done with you. I'm taking Eli and I'm leaving. Perfect storm is what I would call it.
Brought bombshells and new developments in the murder case of Crystal Rogers. One of the big ones revealed in court. The Houck family secretly taped court proceedings that were supposed to be confidential.
WDRB's Valerie Chin has been digging into that and explains why nobody has been charged and won't be. Val?
That answer is simple. Nobody in the Houck family has been charged because it's been too long. The statute of limitations has passed.
Brooks Houck shows her how to run the recorder, tells her he wants a tape of it. The question is why? To make sure everyone's story is consistent. As been stated before, the truth will set you free. The problem in this matter is the truth will imprison Brooks Houck. And we're asking Your Honor.
That's Shane Young, the special prosecutor assigned to the Crystal Rogers murder case, talking about Brooks Houck and his sister. Grand jury proceedings are secret. That's where regular members of the public chosen to be on a grand jury determine whether someone should face criminal charges. They don't decide whether a defendant is guilty. That's what a jury does. We talked to Terry Gohagan, the Nelson County Commonwealth's attorney. He says he subpoenaed the Houck family within 2 weeks of Crystal Rogers' disappearance back in 2015 and interviewed members of the Houck family. He says at the time, there was no reason to believe they had recorded the grand jury proceedings. Gohagan says when the FBI searched Brooke Houck's mother, Rosemary's farm, years later, it found the recordings in a jacket in a closet.
Rosemary Houck had the grand jury recordings in her possession, and they found them. Years later, the statute has run out, so nothing's going to happen to the sister, to the mama, on that charge, anyhow. On that charge. I'm very surprised. Had the FBI, I don't know. I don't know if they were trying to use this as a bargaining chip, and so they didn't jump on it. Because when you think about it, what would you rather charge? Secretly taping the grand jury? Or then they're just going to go deeper as opposed to solving all these murders. Let's take a poll real quick. Do you think Crystal is out there on that farm somewhere? Because they have searched many places in Nelson County.
He says the family took micro recorders into the grand jury room that could be easily hidden in a pocket. Young talked about the recordings on Thursday.
Defendant's sister, Rhonda McEvoy Houck, brother, Nicholas Houck, mother, Rosemary Houck, brother-in-law, Alex McEvoy, and Rosemary Houck's live-in boyfriend, Larry Mont, all recorded, secretly brought in recorders and recorded the grand jury. I've been practicing here, Your Honor, for 25 years in this state, and I have yet, ever, heard of anyone recording a grand jury.
The other way you look at that is law enforcement, local law enforcement, comes out and says you're the prime suspect and releases evidence and gets you excoriated on podcasts and medias, in signs and yards. Who in their right mind wouldn't want to know what was being said?
Gohagan says that the recordings were discovered in 2015. The Houcks who recorded them could have been charged with contempt of court. It's a misdemeanor with a fine of up to $1,000 and a year in jail. But misdemeanors can only be prosecuted within 1 year of the crime. So go.
Uh-oh, look at mama right there. It's a misdemeanor with a $1,000 fine. So they're like, piss on that. Piss on that. We'll save it for the jury. We want the bigger fish. Tracy said, so Fathead got a new girlfriend after Crystal's. Guess what her name is? Crystal. Yep. I'm so glad you brought that up. And she's a dirty bird herself. Her name is Crystal Maupin. She had to go to court back in 2017, charged with unlawful taking and accused of stealing signs related to the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. Maupin is the girlfriend of Fathead Houck, the main suspect in Rogers' disappearance. You're exactly right. That's the new girlfriend, Crystal. She was actually in Florida with Fathead and Crystal Rogers' son when he was arrested. He seemed to know that he was about to go down soon and got Crystal to take Eli to Florida. So here she is taking down, destroying signs, advocating for justice for Crystal Rogers. Yep, and that was in September of 2017. Who in the hell is not involved?
Gohagan says that the recordings were discovered in 2015. The Houcks who recorded them could have been charged with contempt of court. It's a misdemeanor with a fine of up to $1,000 and a year in jail. But misdemeanors can only be prosecuted within 1 year of the crime. So Gohagan says too much time has passed to charge anyone now. We continue to follow new developments in this case, so stay tuned to WDRB. Valerie Chin, WDRB News.
So stay tuned because next week we're going to talk about Rosemary Houck and Nick and what could have been lost. Now, mind you, all is lost. They just are too dumb to know it right now. They think they're smarter. They think they can outsmart everybody. Hence why they get all these people to do their dirty work for them. The new girlfriend, the Lawson family, and more. And more. There's going to be more. Again, the title of the show is How Deep Is This? Well, deep enough that Crystal joined a very, very long and growing list of women who were not safe at home. And as always, this has been a great chat with great friends. Again, I came across this on Facebook this morning and died laughing. Nothing brings a group of assholes together faster than something that is none of their business. Well, the word on the streets is that we're mean girls. Don't forget, tomorrow we wear pink in Mean Girls fashion. We're going to have a big show tomorrow for Michael Vaughn. Brandy, his mother, will be joining us. Of course, Tyler's always welcome, and I'm sure we're going to be hearing a little bit from Michael's little sister, Buggy. In the meantime, I want to say thank you so much to the Mod Squad for always keeping it cool and keeping it real and just letting stuff roll off our back when needs to be. And again, thank you so much to all of you for making the best community and the best channel on YouTube. You guys have a great, great rest of your day. And don't forget, tomorrow we wear pink.